One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. But who is number 4? Also, hello, I have a cat who has decided to join us and be a little bit on screen for right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is Tiki Tuesday, and I'm once again here for another episode of Hyakano, aka a bajillion girlfriends who all want to be your girlfriend all at the same time and don't mind you having other girlfriends. We have 3 girlfriends right now. We just acquired, weird word for it. We just attain. No, that's a weird word for it too. We just added a new one to our harem. Our polycule has expanded. A chemical reaction has occurred, and there's more of us now. This cat is trying to steal food. Stop it. You're a monster. You're a monster. I love you, but you're a monster. You can come sit in my lap. She doesn't like laps, so she's gonna run away. And that'll be good. Oh, okay. We acquired Shizuka, a quiet, lovely, cute, bookish person who doesn't know how to speak words and so uses cute books in order to do so. And we effectively incorporated her into the group and shared our kiss. It was pretty freaking good. I'm really happy with it. I'm happy all over with this show. It continues to harp on and hit on the same theme of being fucking good and nice to people and wanting the best for others in a relationship. And it's something that I'm really valuing having in my life right now. Because it's like, it gives me some of that perfect thing that stories do that I love oh so much. Here you are, a human being in the world, and you've got all these options and choices, and you don't know where they lead necessarily. You don't know what the outcomes of them might be. But through stories, you can at least get some kind of a picture of the kinds of things that people would expect to happen if you do these kinds of behaviors, right? If you actually try to act good to people, maybe they'll be good to you back. And that seems really dumb and simple and straightforward and obvious because it is, and yet, idiot that I am, I find myself needing it to be reiterated and reinterpreted and represented to me over and over again in different forms and formats for me to continue reckoning with the idea. At some point, maybe I'll incorporate it fully and it'll just be flowing out of me normally and naturally. But still, at present, I find myself returning to these shows as like oases in a desert, as sources of something life-sustaining. It's not water or food, but man does not live by food alone. And the thing that comes from stories like this one, where it just shows a dumb face of a character being like, I like other people and I'm gonna be good to them. And then you show the other people being like, I like being treated nicely. And then they both go, yay, is something that I really need in my life. And so do you, probably. Probably. Because what we get bombarded by is sort of the opposite in lots of ways. We get bombarded by terrible people succeeding. We get bombarded by great people getting totally murdered and exploded. Shit, man, where's the wholesome stuff? Where are the stories that we can align ourselves with to try to be like, that's actually the kind of life that I would like to live, and maybe if I aim toward it, I could have something like it. Well, they're right here. They're right here. They're here, and they're in kids' shows, and they're all over the place, and they're scattered throughout anime, and there are plenty of anime that don't do that. It's not universal. It's a medium, not a monolith. It's a medium, not a monolith is a good phrase. But this one sure as hell does. Doesn't it? It does for me. It does something fun and silly and good. This past week, over the course of just a couple of days, I watched Kuma 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 Bear with my partner, with Seraph, and we watched it over like 2 days. And it was garbage. It's crap. It's like, there's nothing to it at all. I loved it. I loved the shit out of it. The simple fact that this character continuously goes through their life doing the things that exactly they want to do and dealing with the people who judge them for it and just going for it anyway, and it turns out really well and people respect them. Music to my ears, manna from heaven, water in the desert, right? Like a source of hope for me, a source of some kind of affirmation that maybe there's a path here, maybe there's some possibility there that doesn't align with the shit that I feel inundated and soaked with. I feel like I'm soaking in a flavor of sauce that's salty and shitty, like my whole society, and I don't want that. I don't want to be that. I want to be the bright thing that emerges out of that spicy stew of bullshit and makes it taste good and makes it interesting. Maybe that's like exceptionally absurd, but I don't think so. The people who made this show did it. It seems like a bastion or a bright spot of light to me. So I'm going to keep watching these shows and I'm going to keep benefiting from them. I'm going to keep talking about how I benefit from them And maybe in some small way, doing that here, sitting in this chair, will be worthwhile to some of you. There. I think that's a good statement of intent. I've been missing that for a little while. As far as why am I doing this? I feel like sometimes I'm repeating ideas that I've had before that I know I believe in, but I don't remember why. Today I don't feel like that. Today I feel wholehearted. Today I feel complete. And that's why I feel comfortable sitting down here and recording. I have a lot of trouble doing it if it doesn't feel completely genuine, completely authentic. If what I'm putting out into the world doesn't feel like the kind of thing that I wanted to put out into the world, I can't do it. And I suffer because of that. I suffer by my own reluctances, you know? Um, if I don't sit here and make the content effectively, then I'm going to lose the platform that I care so much about and the ability to do it effectively. So that's another aspect, but I don't want to sit here and do that because I have to. I want to do it because I want to, because it fulfills a deeper need in me, perhaps. And that's how I feel today. And so I'm ready to record today and ready to go and ready to find out what insane bullshit we get up to this time. So, the question for today is, do we spend an episode just figuring out where we're at and enjoying our trio as it is? 3 girlfriends is a lot after all. Could spend some time just existing with 3 girlfriends. There are plenty of shows that do it for seasons and seasons with 1 girlfriend. Hell, so many shows that do it for seasons and seasons with not even a girlfriend, because they never will they only won't they. I have a feeling we're just going to add another one, which means that the question is it going to be the mathematical cool genius or the insane tiny explosive monster? Kind of hoping for insane tiny explosive monster, but I feel like it's going to be the mathematical cool genius, and that's fine. That's fine. Who minds? I don't mind. That's great. Let's see how that meshes. We don't really have anybody like that. Shizuka's the closest that we get because she's quiet and demure and thoughtful and reads. But our first 2 were pretty insane and pretty, like, we got an extreme ganky girl, Chipper, who's also a little bit manipulative under the surface and trying a little bit hard to be pretty perfect. And we've got a hard-headed tsundere, and then we've got Shizuka, a quiet kudere. Now I feel like we're gonna get like Yamato Nadeshiko plus quiet plus, I don't know. I don't understand what this character is or what the I mean, I think I understand the explosive girl. She seems really straightforward. I'll probably be wrong, but this math whiz, who knows? Who knows? Let's go ahead and watch an episode. Yeah, I've got episode 5? Is it 5? Yeah, episode 5 of... I don't actually have it up properly. Okay, there we go. Alright, I have episode 5 of Hyakano up and ready to go. There will be 2 versions, picture-in-picture in the description, timer on YouTube, beep timer to count you down, and early access on the Patreon. As always, despite it being sort of fucked in terms of scheduling, there is still always early access on the Patreon. And beep timer, let's go. Oh, she's probably number 1 in the exam results, right? And also it said the hyper-efficient girl, so... Aww, that's the sweetest possible way. they all simul flashback. I love it. Boink, boink, boink. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. AI? uh... Sparkles, sparkles, sparkles. Love has been initiated. You are chosen. For sure. She has interesting eyes. They're very soft, like they're not surime like our tsundere. I wonder who her voice actress is too. Sounds familiar. Okay. It's a pretty hard nut to crack, honestly. Like, how do you befriend someone who won't talk to you? Guess we're gonna find out. Maybe that'll be useful, honestly. It makes me giggle. It makes me giggle. I don't know. I like this show. Am I allowed to like this show? Yes. Oh, the cat's there. I didn't notice. That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. AI Nano. I don't know what the AI part is for the like. Is it loves A's? Is it just that? Hmm. Hmm. A robot. Oh, that's. I get it. I'm dumb. AI Nano. I wonder what the Nano is. Oh, nice. How can you stop gawking at her? She's so pretty. I have no idea what we're talking about. I guess it's mnemonics? Hmm. Hmm. But where's the crack? Like, there have to be cracks in her. That's really funny. That's not efficient. Clearly. Oh, Usually one uses their own, though. Oh, holy shit. This might be porn. This is porn. Yep. That's porn. It's not like I like to. So funny. Shit. It was just the most efficient. For sure, yeah. This makes sense. Yeah, let me lick your finger. Hmm. Everything. Why? What's the point? It's meaningless. Yeah, it's really hard not to crack. Why? What does it lead to? Do those. Yeah, those don't have a direct translation to value, right? Are you sure? Oh. Oh. I see. Just like an AI with. She only follows the things she measures. We make our own meaning. Igi to wa kachi. Uh-huh. Yeah, hard utilitarianism, but it's also paper utilitarianism. Fascinating. No, words are imperfect. Damn, she's gonna die. Maths, 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 maths. Got feelings under that hard shell? You're not allowed to have feelings. Or did you just want to suck on his finger? To win him over? Yeah, the logic doesn't click. She has no ability to experience her emotions. Yeah, no ability to experience her emotions. It's me! Oh, hey! Ah, yes. Ah. It's not working! Fuck, panic attack inbound. You're gonna have to deal with him one way or another. Get out of my life, you monster! We take those. That'll do. That's so funny. That is very efficient. Oh no, I don't want to go out. All right, Joe. Was that right on? It's too inefficient. Then I can just get over it. That's so fucking funny. But it's inefficient and meaningless. Love doesn't have purpose. It's only the surface level aspects. Huh. Fuck you. You can't do a shaft head tilt. Absolutely fuck you. Absolutely triple double dog fuck you. Double dog fuck you. You're not Senjo Gahara. Double dog fuck you. I can't believe they did that. That's so funny. Double triple dog fuck you. Just this once? This would be a very efficient way to get rid of him. Or actually get what you want. But of course, she can't admit what she wants to herself. She's not even aware of it, right? Like, dressed like a human being. I wonder if what will click with her. Yeah, that's gonna be a hard sell. Yeah. That's the idea. It's ephemeral, you dingus. That's the whole point. That's the point. It's a yummy food made of milk. Fuck. This is gonna be. This is a man in a costume. I knew it. None of these are real zombies. Just ruining theme parks. So I wonder what will click. We could spin really fast. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's having fun. How could they? You can rationalize the fun out of anything. It's why Tanoshi wa Tanoshidayo is so important. Hmm. Hmm. An emotion that she can't really control. Fear, huh? Oh. But that's not logical. Why would that help you? Ah. Oh. She's so scared. Yeah, human connection and warmth. Oh. Yeah. Lover. Can't logic yourself out of that one, can you? It's really hard to argue with oxytocin. It's like really hard. Ah! I thought he. Aww. Wow. It was just an experience. It was fun, but nothing else. Misses the point, man. It's a very good opportunity. Or a very good attitude. Ah! Will she want to stop it? You lose something forever. There's something there. You just haven't defined it yet. Just because you haven't figured out the words. Something about it is precious. It's a great argument. Hmm? Shit. This might be the most important episode so far. Emotions. Emotions, babe. They leak out through our eyes sometimes. Show me that part of the world. This is perfect. That's pretty fucking efficient. Aww. Yeah. Sure. Looks like we're all going. Again. Aww. It's true. Butt mole. Oh shit. Yep, that's it! Well, y'all, it's ogre. Next episode is a Savisu episode. I'm not gonna complain. Fuck, this was a good one. I really hope that I'm able to do this justice thematically. Because it's really powerful to me. I think this is the most potent thematically episode so far, at least for me, because it speaks to me in an important way. Over the last few days, I've been wrestling with my own intellectualization of emotions. Because, like many people who do that, I thought I was pretty good at experiencing my emotions, and turns out I'm not. I'm really good at putting names on them and then thinking that I've figured them out because I've named them, where I haven't really felt them in fullness. So there's something in AI that I relate to from a different perspective. I don't feel like a robot, but difficulty being in touch with what I actually want. Sometimes, for sure. But there's something maybe more potent and more universal about AI, and that's this obsessive focus on value and efficiency, and that's not wrong. That's not wrong at all, but it's value and efficiency as definable. Not as defined by XYZ, right? Because that will inherently be wrong, but as definable. I believe, says AI, that I know the underlying structure of value of the universe, and I am convinced that my framework for understanding that value is universal and unassailable. That's the perspective that she has that really needs to be assailed, because it's not a very strong one, all over in general, really. The idea is that only if you can measure it is it worthwhile to change. The sort of flip side of this in optimization is like what gets measured gets improved, or what gets tracked gets improved. This is thrown around a lot in like health and fitness communities because it's generally true. What you look at and evaluate about yourself and track is what you're going to be able to optimize for. If you track your scale weight, you might be able to optimize for your scale weight, but that might actually not be a great stand-in or a great factor for your overall health, right? It's broadly one because when you get really far on one end of it, it's going to be really bad, but your scale weight doesn't tell you how much muscle versus fat you're carrying, or how dense your bones are, or how likely you are to experience osteoporosis, or whether you've been poisoned, right? Like, you can maintain your scale weight eating nothing but a couple bags of Cheetos every day, and you'll go down in scale weight and you won't be doing so well. It's an optimization to something that you can measure because it's measurable, but that doesn't mean that it's an accurate depiction of the things you're actually trying to optimize for. The thing you're trying to optimize for when you're optimizing for your weight is probably some amalgamation of like health and well-being, right? Longevity and the ability to do the things that you want to during the day. The scale can't tell you that, but if you measure only with the scale, that's what you're going to get. If you do a more complex set of measurements, you include your scale weight, DEXA scans, other body fat representations, how much you can bench press, how much you can squat, how far you can run without losing your breath, whether you're able to perform like 10 or 20 minutes of cardio without losing it completely. You're going to get a much better depiction of your physical overall well-being, and yet still, it will be missing something. Not just the things in between that slip through the cracks, but something more holistic and more real. The kind of thing that you might get if you journaled every day and did a free-form page with maybe 1,000 words or whatever on all the things you've been feeling in that day, and then fed all of those over the course of a year into some AI that figured out how it thought you were feeling during that day and measured and tracked those as some kind of holistic wellness metric. You'd get closer. You'd get closer to reality and closer to becoming better at being a person. But still, you'd only be optimizing toward those things that you're tracking. And the things that you're not tracking won't happen. They'll be completely out of your line of sight, off somewhere in a blind spot. So, anytime that we get convinced that our way of seeing things is the right way and somehow unassailable, we're really dramatically limiting ourselves to a set of representations of what exists that we've agreed with or agreed are correct. Like, are you living a good life? How do you know? What are the measures of that? Is it the subjective feeling like you are? Because there are lots of people who, on the outside, everybody would say that they're horrible monsters, and they're on the inside being like, I'm living a great life. So how do we reckon with that? I don't know, man. Maybe it's all more subjective than someone like AI is able or willing to admit. And I think that's really the secret sauce there, is to admit and understand that there's a subjective element to all of this, that improvement, direction even, is subjective based on the present status of the viewer and observer. These are all judgments that we make. I think the flaw or the failing is trying to externalize those. It's an avoidance of responsibility in order to like assign everything to simple mathematical functions that are external to the chooser, the user, the creator, the person who we're talking about. That person is trying to not make choices and trying to say that those choices are being made because by fiat of the universe's structure. The universe is structured such that relationships aren't cool or interesting, and therefore I am aligned with the universe, which means I'm right. I'm aligned with the universe in thinking that they're not cool or interesting, and I'm doing the right thing, moral justice, whatever, based on the physics of reality in not pursuing them. Because the physics of reality reward efficiency, and efficiency means money or value or progress in life. Even when we dive into those phrases, the ones that AI throws at your boy, they fall apart pretty quickly. It's right. It's like, if these don't offer you progress in your future, it's like, well, what does that mean? Progress toward what kind of future? Do they make you happier when you're 30? Like, clearly what she means is like better grades, better job, better college, more wealth, better home in the city based on everyone else's idea of what better means. Right? Based on what everyone else values more. You get more money for the better job because everyone else values it more. You get better grades because everyone thinks those are the right answers. This is all a set of patterns that have been presented out for you and that AI has accepted as such. This is the way the world is. There's no I think there. There's no room for feeling. There's no room, really, for choosing either. AI doesn't have a choice. AI is bound by this efficiency logic, like a real automaton or a real robot, right? So when we get here and we have this first talk about the relationship, it's like, I have to follow this through because that's what the universe has said I must do. And the purpose of following this through is to get rejected so that I can end this love. Because despite wanting it on the inside, I cannot have it. I'm not allowed to have things if they're inefficient. I must. Like, she feels a moral imperative as a person. This is what being is about, is to do the things that lead to the set of goals that I believe are the right goals. And that's the only way it can be. So we got to crack that bubble, right? We've got to burst that bubble. And the way we do it is by showing her, without being able to articulate it. And this is really important because I think we would struggle really hard to articulate it effectively, at least convincingly. Articulated through scene, through action, through story, we present to her a moment, an experience that has no hooks into logical, rational efficiency. It doesn't have the hooks into it. It's just dumb and fun. And then we say, and you enjoyed it. And she goes, no, I didn't, because logic, right? The logic of it doesn't make sense, and therefore I did not enjoy it. She says, enjoying it. But this doesn't make sense. People shouldn't be enjoying this thing. She says, having fun. Right? It's like, I'm not allowed to be excited during this supposedly exciting thing, she says, excitedly. And there's something really potent here. We are completely able to deny our actual experience of reality. Sometimes we do it very consciously, like we're sitting there and we're going, shit, my subconscious is telling me that I actually love this guy, and I'm not going to allow that thought in, so I'm going to scribble 3.1415925 on the walls forever in eternity to tamp down on my emotions, like very conscious repression. But it also does that subconsciously. It does that by not even letting you feel the feeling. Like it comes up and it gets pushed back down. And it never reaches here. Never reaches here. Never reaches like embodiment. Never reaches like feeling it in your body. Feeling that warm fuzziness of joy or love cover you, right? Or your body thinks that's not safe, so it tamps it down. Or that feeling of adrenaline and excitement. That shit's not safe. Tamp it down. It's only when we get her afraid, an emotion that in this case she can't really control, that there's some crack in her exterior where she's able to kind of admit that she wants something even though it doesn't necessarily make sense. We don't break it down, but like I think we can extrapolate that in AI Nano's mind, she'd be like, on a normal day, she'd be like, sitting next to someone is useless and silly. Why would that help someone who's in fear, right? Why would they be afraid in the first place? Sure, it's purely logical, but it's like Ferris wheel accidents aren't real. But in the moment, you can't really logic away your emotions. It's the thing that I think people like AI, and sometimes like me, struggle with, is that for all the emotions on a scale of 1 to 10 below a 6, maybe you can logic them away. You've actually trained it up really well, and you're really good at it, right? As long as it's a strong emotion that's under a 6, you're fine. You're fine. You breach that barrier, and you have no coping skills. None. No coping skills, because your only coping skill is engage the logical entity that's inside. And if you bypass it, you move past that, and you start to actually feel something, now you're in scary, I'm a baby again, and I don't know what to do territory, because you've never developed any coping skills besides logicking your way out of your emotions to deal with the emotions when they actually overwhelm you. Your whole strategy is over not getting overwhelmed by the emotions, by not actually experiencing them. So you start experiencing them, and you don't know what the fuck to do. And you don't have the strategic ability to rely on other people effectively, right? AI can't, like, know that what she needs is some physical comfort and somebody to sit there with her. Rentaro has to present that and sort of ask for it, ask to present it. But it does work no matter how rational you are. And maybe even it works within the realm of rationality. I think that's an angle that we could take here. AI might be all focused on optimizing for the things she could measure, but there might be things that are deeply measurable that are present here that she's simply unaware of. And there always are, if you have a logical perspective like this, there are things that you don't recognize as being part of that logic. For example, people live a whole lot longer when they feel loved and like comforted and connected to other people. Like statistically, clearly, obviously, straightforward, right? Measurable improvement in quality of life. AI's ability to study would probably improve if she's in a relationship, or like if she has close personal friends around her that she can rely on, because these things have effects that you can't necessarily quantify at first. They're downstream, or they're externalities. And so AI's attitude brings me to something maybe dumb and practical about our real world, which is that our real world is full of semi-robotic entities like corporations. And corporations are very, 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 very good at optimizing toward the numerical metrics that they've been given, like profit. Really good at that. Really not good at optimizing for externalities that they haven't been shown. For example, a company that's optimizing for profit will not be optimizing for soil health. And so they will rip the soil of every nutrient it possibly has as fast as they possibly can and torch the landscape in order to make as much profit as fast as possible, when in truth, doing that is going to reduce overall profits because of factors that the robot system can't comprehend. In truth, AI's perspective is probably going to leave her alone and broken and sad and unable to get the kinds of positions that she really wants, because the people that she's going to have to interact with in order to get them aren't going to care as much about efficiency as she is, and they're going to be more interested in some office small talk. But she can't see that because it doesn't factor into her numbers. There's no button on her calculator for being nice to people. At least not yet. There could be. And she could keep her internal outlook of efficiency is important by just trying to recognize efficiency is important, and one of the best ways I can be more efficient is by recognizing the ways in which I do not recognize my inefficiencies. That's a tough meta thought to have as a real person, let alone as a two-dimensional anime character. But man, I think a lot of real people would significantly benefit from a thought like that. Part of the optimization experience is finding out what you're not optimizing for yet and adding it to your formula. Damn. That's what I need to be doing too. That's why stories do that. They give us the formulas for the things that we weren't sure we were sure about optimizing, you know? Huh. Anime's given me so many possible formulas for interpersonal connection and interaction. So many that I actively use all the time, and have, over the long term, added consciously or subconsciously into my metrics for my life. This is a little bit mind-blowing to me. This is a little bit mind-blowing as an episode. This idea of deep self-limitation because you don't have yourself aimed at values that would actually fulfill you strikes me as pervasive. As pervasive. Chasing after something and then fucking getting a lot closer to it, or even getting it, and then finding out that it wasn't what you wanted in the first place, that you were optimizing for the wrong problem. It's like the problem. That's like the problem. Because once you know which problem you want to solve, life is pretty fucking easy, actually. It's not that hard. But knowing which problem to solve for? Ugh. Ugh. And it doesn't help, and I want to talk about this. It doesn't help. I'm not talking about words and their definitions. If it cannot be defined in words, it is only a delusion. But our words are limited. Dramatically so. Each one is like a little umbrella, right? And there's no coverage of all of reality with all those little umbrellas. There's no way. So this is pivotal because, to my mind, we are limited dramatically by our words. There's been a lot of theory around this that I'm not super familiar with, around thought and words, linguistic understanding, and your ability to actually think. I believe there was some proof that learning a different language when you're young, or which language types you've grown up in, changes dramatically the flow and nature of one's thoughts. The specific example that I recall was somebody talking about alphabetic or syllabic languages versus hieroglyphic or pictorial or what would you call it, symbolic languages, Chinese characters versus Japanese alphabets, right? Or kanji versus hiragana. And the idea was that the logical flow of thought is very different amongst syllabic linear speakers, as their thoughts than it is against pictorial representing thinkers in the way that they think. I think that might be true, or there might be some level of truth to it. Again, I'm not terribly familiar with it, but I think it's reasonable to surmise that our ability to wrap our heads around the world would be altered by the words, the terms, the labels that we actually have to use for it. It seems to me that expanding one's vocabulary about things actually increases one's ability to comprehend them, and then take those things, abstract them, and mishmash them, and make new ideas together with them. If it cannot be defined in words, it is only a delusion. It is so wrong to me. I think because everything was before words were. And human feelings and emotions existed before we had words to describe them. That feeling that we have that sometimes leads people to kill each other, that's anger. But it's a much bigger, more complicated thing than our simple understandings of anger. Anger came after anger. The word came after the thing. Similarly, it's like if we didn't have a word for love or fun, then those things would be irrelevant to AI. As is, they're irrelevant to her because they're not part. She's defined and dismissed them. Fun is the opposite of useful. And so, one cannot have fun that is useful. It's only a delusion. And to say that is wrong, right? But we can structure our logic, our words, to make it true. In a logical expression, fun is not useful. Useful is not equal to fun. I have an object that is both fun and useful. Is this possible? And the logical expression says no, impossible, illogical expression. But there are fun things that can be useful. The words are wrong. The definitions are wrong. To define fun things in opposition to useful things is incorrect, because fun can be useful. This is a problem that we get into based on semantics really strongly. We get into it a lot on like genres, sci-fi and horror. Are horror movies sci-fi movies, or are sci-fi movies horror movies? Well, some sci-fi movies are horror movies, and some sci-fi movies have horror elements, and some horror movies have sci-fi. Our words are really fiddly. One should be very careful before structuring their whole view of reality upon only what they can speak. What you can speak is really important, but the Tao that can be spoken is not the true Tao. The gate is gateless. When it comes to grand truths, sometimes we have to realize them ourselves. And that's what we did with AI. We took her through a Zen awakening to the power of being, of existing without planning it out or trying to figure out exactly how it fits into your paradigm, your structure. It is a fool's mode of thinking to dismiss things as irrelevant simply because one does not yet see how they might be relevant. I think really intelligent people look at things that they don't understand and say, I'm not sure if this matters, but I'd like to know more about it just in case later down the line there's something useful about it. It's like you go through a video game and you find a weird rock and you're like, this is a weird rock and it's here for a reason. There's something weird about it. I could just drop it and leave it here. dismiss it because I don't understand what it's for. But I'm going to put it in my pack and carry it with me anyway. And if it doesn't turn into anything, doesn't turn into anything. But if it's the key to a boss room, whoopee-doo, bully for me. That's my sort of attitude toward reality. It's the one that I want to foster. And I think, like AI, I can learn a lot from Rentaro on that. And a lot from anime. Maybe it's one of the things that I've been really seeking here. It is. I know that it is. Because, like I said at the beginning, these stories are pathways forward, potentials for us. And I value immensely stories about characters feeling their emotions fully. Reckoning with how they actually are on the inside. Figuring out how to deal with that in context with others. It's the ones who are open and light and wholehearted without needing a logical reason that I find the most compelling, that I want to be the most like, that I endeavor to be like. Because I think there's value in fun. Thanks for watching this week's episode. I'll see you next time for more early access on the Patreon. Much love. Peace.